Should be able then to see straight away here. Robert, you can't make it this time.
Who can?
Robert, the guy that we had last time.
Yep. Okay.
But hopefully we have a few. Is that on? Aye. I definitely need more space. This should be live. Go on. Is there such a big delay? So.
Did you post the links? I'll repost it as well.
Hold on. Okay.
Open an account. Make a deposit.
We're going live. I think I did. Just not so long ago.
Here we go.
And we're live. Can you see my beautiful Christmas decorations, guys?
Join us. All right, I just posted it myself.
Awesome.
All right, there we go. We're good on that.
Live now. I'm gonna just retweet you, I think. And let's go. So hopefully now we're going to see a few people come in the chat and join and like have a very lively chat like we had last time. And if we don't, we're going to obviously, we've loads to talk about anyway. There's a lot happening despite. Now, you're going to have to excuse myself and Bleeding Crypto today. We're both not 100%. I'm still feeling the, what you call this? I don't want to call it a hangover because it's so embarrassing.
Don't be embarrassed at all.
After the wedding, but Bleeding Crypto is a little bit under the weather with a cold. So we're probably not going to spend a lot of time here tonight with you guys, but like when I was earlier on giving you notifications about this stream, please make sure that you are participating in the chat. Now 2 seconds, because now I noticed as well that all you can see is me, and that's not why we're here. Now you can see the two of us.
Ask the community if they can hear me, because I know last time we had some trouble in the beginning. They couldn't hear my audio. So maybe you want to post something on YouTube and ask them if they can hear me. Mic check. Can you guys hear us?
I'm going to, you know what I'll do is I'll put it in the chat as well. Perfect. And we'll see if we can hear. We have feedback that
they can hear.
Yeah,
okay.
you can,
okay. Awesome.
Perfectly.
Well, guys, let's. We want to kind of leave it open up to you guys. We don't have anything pre-prepared like we did last week. We kind of wanted to just talk to the community, see what you guys feel. We're going to talk a little bit about my outlook for the short term, because I am very bullish at the moment for the short term, for the end of year. So while we go over that, if you guys have any questions, any coins or requests that you may have, put it in the chat. And this way, Marta can let me know what those are, and we can do our best to cover them as well. Hopefully, for those who are listening to the pre-recording, you guys already sent in your requests. And if you haven't, make sure you guys do after the videos, after you watch it. Send Marta, make sure you follow her on YouTube, subscribe to her, hit the bell notification, and send her your request. So that we can get to them and we can help you guys out. Maybe there's something, it doesn't even have to be a coin, guys. If there's something TA related that you're learning, that you're struggling with, if there's any way that her and I can help you, let us know. If we know the answers, we'll be more than happy to tell you. If we don't know the answers, I can either find out or send you to a good resource that I would recommend for you to find the answers to your questions. So definitely let us know, guys. We're here for you guys.
Yeah, and like,
is there anything specific, Marta, that you wanted to cover right now?
Nothing for the minute. So we're probably going to cover Bitcoin and your bullish outlook and why. But in the meantime, that will give you guys time because we had a great, very lively chat in the last stream. So if there's anything that you feel that wasn't covered or you'd like to go back over, maybe we'd be glad to do that as well. So feel free. We're here for you. This stream is really dedicated to everybody here in the chat watching us live.
Absolutely. Let's start with Bitcoin, guys. Let me give you a review of what I'm looking at. Let me do this. Let me get rid of some of my notes because this is an on. Let's see here. Just let me remove everything. Remove all 43. I don't know if I want to give 43. I'll just do a local. Some local stuff out of the way here. And let me go to the higher time frames. Higher time frames, you get a little better perspective of kind of what I'm looking at. So at the moment, guys, I am looking for a move to the upside. Now, one of the things that I do like to point out is when I do my TA and I'm looking for targets and I'm looking for support and resistance, there's a pattern that I follow, and it plays out more often than not. Not always, but it does play out more often than not. Enough for me to use it while I'm doing my trade, planning out my trade. One of those that I like to follow is a back test, guys. I think if you guys pay attention to price action and pay attention to certain levels of support or resistance, and you'll notice that when we stay in one area of either or, and we break out of that level, eventually we come back and we do a back test, and typically it happens sooner than later. And one of the things that stands out to me is that during this, here, let me go shrink here. During this entire time that we were here, we'll call it, let's maybe lower this line a little bit, maybe we're about right there or so. We were in a very long area of support. So we started back in June 13, and we didn't lose that area until last month on the week of November 7th is when we finally lost that. And one of the things that we have not done is back tested that. You were going to say something, Marta?
No, I was just waiting for my decorations, beautiful Christmas decorations to fall, and they did.
Oh, so this is kind of the area that I'm looking at, guys. I know it's a little difficult because there is a lot of, deviations below here, but somewhere in that range here, bare minimum, I am looking for a back test. Now, one of the things that I do notice about Bitcoin likes round numbers and psychological numbers. So to me, 20,000 is a pretty good psychological number. Yeah, it always tends to like those round numbers. And one of the things that I also like to look at, guys, I like to look at the derivatives market. In a bear market, guys, where there's retail has mostly already stepped out, they don't want no part of this. The way markets move, guys, it's towards liquidity. It's where is the area of max pain, the local area of max pain for the people that are still in it and are trying to outsmart the market. And right now, it stands that at this level at 20,202 is, according to High Block Capital, the software that I use, this website that I use, they have liquidations to clear the books up here at that psychological level, a little bit above it at 20,200. That'll wipe out all the shorts that were basically put in this area here. Everyone who was super bearish and thought that we were going to drop immediately down to our $12,000 and $14,000 targets, because you know that the market loves to give you what you want. Well, they are sweating it out right now, guys. They're sweating it out. We're not moving in a very fast pace up, and I wouldn't expect it to. During any type of move, we're going to have those levels where we locally are going to liquidate those 100 and 150x leverages. So you're going to have that movement. And it doesn't take a very big move to wipe out those folks. But I do believe that bare minimum, we're going to see I'm planning though, for us to see this 18,000, mid 18,000 to high $18,000 level hit. And then I think that we look at Twitter, guys, and we try to discern information. I look at Twitter to get more of a market sentiment and kind of get the feel of what everyone's looking at. And let me explain to you what my train of thought is here. There's a lot of people right now that are thinking exactly what I'm thinking. They want to hit this here. It's going to back test. I'm going to short the hell out of it. You have to understand, guys, that type of thinking, those people help people like myself in mapping out a plan, because as they post that and people come into the market, they don't know any better, and they're trying to hit that one big score, because that's the mentality of most people that come into. I'm going to hit. I'm going to be that guy who puts 1,000 and pulls out $100,000. I'm going to leverage it, just like this guy who has 200,000-300,000 account followers. And the more people that stack up their shorts here, the greater the likelihood that we're going to squeeze them out. Now, in case you guys haven't heard, or you don't remember me hearing it your first time listening, when you do 100x leverage, guys, it only takes 0.46%. Think about that, 0.46% to get completely liquidated. Now, imagine, you guys know the volatility of we do a 0.46% 2 or 3 times a day. So the amount of hurt that you would put to shorts from this level up to this level here, that 20,000 psychological level, is pretty great. Now, typically, when you guys have seen it, if you guys go to lower time frames, like the 1 hour time frame, whenever we have a big move to the downside, what happens first, guys? It's a quick signal. You'll see a push to the upside, and then we slam down, or vice versa. If we're going to push up, you see a quick move to the downside before we move up. Always remember, guys, that happens for one and only one reason. They want to liquidate the people that are going opposite to the market. So if they are going short, they want to make sure that they push it up quickly, knock out any stops, and liquidate those high leverage before they go down. They don't want to just drop it and pay everyone. And when I told you that we only need 0.46% to liquidate 100x people, usually we see about a 1.5 to 2% move to the upside. That's going to liquidate pretty much anyone like from an 80 to 150x leverage, which are going to be those high payout areas, and vice versa. We push those down, we knock out the stops, we liquidate the longs, then we push up. We're not, the market makers are not looking to liquidate everyone. They're looking to liquidate the really high leverage payouts. They don't want to pay. So the closer we get up here, I then flip. I'm looking on a daily basis to my high block capital site, and I'll notice that we'll start building up longs. People start getting overly confident. People start thinking that this is the reversal, this is the bottom end. For you guys who follow the markets, you know how ridiculous they may sound. But guys, coming into the market, someone who doesn't know any better, you guys have lived through it. You guys see it, and it'll push, and a little green. The bottom is in, we're going up, and people get excited. That excitement comes. Then the reaction to that excitement is they leverage high. We push up higher than we anticipate before we come down. So I'm planning to basically, when we hit this level here, because I don't know how high we're going to push up, the way I approach the market, I'm longing up into this area. I then remove profits, and I start opening a hedge short, and I start adding to that short, knowing that at some point in here, we are going to have a short squeeze before we come back down. Now, you have to understand that the way I short, guys, to protect myself from watching so many people get liquidated, I don't leverage. That gives me a huge advantage, because if you don't leverage, when you open a derivatives contract, minimum, you do have a liquidation point. It's a 1x. So you have to think about this, guys. I open a leverage here. I open a short here. Bitcoin would have to go to $39,000, $39,000 for me to get liquidated.
To lose your money.
So I can sleep very, very well, because I am not I don't believe any way, shape, or form that we're going from here to $39,000. Do I think we're going to hit $39,000 someday? Yes, absolutely. but not from here. So I do believe that more downside is coming. But until that downside happens, guys, there is a lot of opportunity if you know what you're doing. If you understand technical analysis, you understand your risk management, you understand position size, you understand how to trade, you can totally take advantage of moves to the upside and to the downside, both with proper hedging, proper risk management, and still be able to make some pretty decent money out there. 15% push to the upside, 20% push to the upside. That's a great day, guys. That's a great week, or even a great month. So for me, that's my short-term outlook as far as what I'm expecting for the upside. Now, keep in mind that alts, guys. Alts in a bear market normally have a run at a ratio of 2 to 1. So for every 1% Bitcoin goes up, typically we see an altcoin on an average go 2%. So that's about a 30% move on most alts on the move to the upside here with Bitcoin. So that's a lot of money to be made. I don't play the alts as much, guys. I play high cap alts because, again, there's so much volatility, and during the bear market, I've seen too many squeezes. Even if you don't use a leverage and you have a 1x, I've seen some coins, some low cap coins go 200-300% with any type of news. So they are manipulated, and they're able to do those types of multiples because they're so low in market cap that they can easily bring in 10, 20 million bucks and move to the upside. A altcoin that has a $4, $5, $6 billion market cap, it's very hard for a coin to inject $6 billion into a market in this environment to do a double to liquidate me. So again, that's why I stick with those high level caps. I'm not trying to go for home runs. Not in this market. Yeah, I'm going for bases.
I think slow and steady in this case, 100% is absolutely so much better to stick to, and get into that mindset of, it's a marathon, not a sprint. I know it sounds like a cliche. I know it's being repeated constantly, but when you think about it, and you put it on a even piece of paper, write down, a small percent every day, rather than huge discrepancies between either going high or losing a lot. You are winning. You want to be the turtle here, not a hare in this race, especially now when we are still in the downside. It's not a bull market where you're expecting to hit those targets. There could be a reversal at any point. We don't know where that bottom is, how soon it's going to shape yet. So certainly I really like this approach. And what I actually wanted just to touch on was when you mentioned about not doing the leverage. I really, it does also take a lot of discipline to trade and not fall into this sort of. Now, myself, on the contrary, I love leverage. It's my thrill. But I seriously will advocate and stand by what Bleeding Crypto here is saying. You don't have to. And when you break it down and put it on paper, like I was saying, where you have that steady, slow growth and income of your gains, opposed to a high risk. It's great when you have caught that crazy move, but those market conditions are very, very hard, and it can really mess up your portfolio and your confidence and how you see the market and how you trade and who you are. There's no, like I always say, greed at every point. Think about it. Whatever you do, every decision, ask yourself, am I being greedy?
What you said right now about the psychological, that's actually the most dangerous one to fall in, guys. If it knocks your confidence, if it affects you mentally, it's going, even if you know TA, it's really going to affect how you approach the market. It's going to affect your risk, and it's going to make you make bad decisions. So you have to get into a rhythm where your surrounding, your environment. Are we in a bear market? Yes. Do moves happen quickly in one way, in one direction or another, out of the blue, for no reason at all? Yes, those types of questions are going to help you manage that leverage. If you don't agree with me, and you want to use leverage, just think about know your liquidation point, guys. And just because you use a stop, it doesn't justify why you should just blindly go into a leverage. Because I'll tell you guys, a bear market, 18 months, 2 years of a bear market, using stop losses and getting stopped out frequently, it's going to eat up your portfolio in time. So a lot of people have the approach, I don't care, I'll just use a stop. I don't just 3-4%, 3-4%, 3-4%. 6 months of that, guys, you'll cut your portfolio down in more than half. So don't be very cavalier about, it's no big deal, I'll just use a stop. A stop is something as a last resort. It shouldn't be an excuse to trade. Just because you use a stop doesn't justify you have to take on that trade. There's a lot of things that you need to look at that you have to be right about. And a stop is if you have everything wrong and then you fall back on your stop. If you're getting stopped out often, then you're doing something wrong. Your analysis, you need to check your analysis. Forget about stop losses. Forget about trading altogether. Figure out why you're losing so many trades to stops, and you want to then convert to paper trading. Don't stop trading because you need to keep on swinging and swinging and swinging, but you need to remove your capital. So keep on swinging and refine your swing. Find out why are you getting stopped out so many times? What are you doing wrong? And a lot of times it's something really simple. Maybe lowering your time frame. That is a big one for a lot of people. When you trade in this environment, you don't really want to look at the daily or the weekly. That's going to be tough if you're trying to trade. You may want to go down to the 30-minute, the 15-minute, the hourly at the most for those type of day trades. So understand how you're viewing the market, what time frame you are viewing the market, and understand there are a lot of different check boxes that you have to check in order to take a trade. And if you are getting stopped out too many times, you're not checking the right boxes. And that's where people like me and Marta come in. And that's why these free YouTube videos here can help you. Give us your questions. Tell us what's going on. Give us examples. Don't be embarrassed.
Yeah,
I find a lot of times people will give me a scenario and they'll be embarrassed. Like, well, I bought it somewhere up here. No, tell me exactly where you bought it. Because here's the thing, guys. Giving us all the information, if you don't give us all the information, we can't help you. But if you give us the information, even though it's in hindsight, and you say, well, yeah, I bought it here, it's really high. Let us walk through the process. What was your mindset when you bought it here? Like what made you buy it here? And then you can then frame a plan. Look, you could have done this, and you could have waited for this level. You could have looked at this fib. You could have waited for, you go to smaller time frames, obviously, and you could have looked for an area of back testing. There's always a reason why that trade failed. Sometimes you can do everything right and still lose, but that's okay. Those are going to be a lot rarer. They're not going to be as often, but we want to make sure we get you into that side of the equation where you get stopped out or you lose in a trade, but it happened 1 out of 10 times. You're doing good. You're doing good. But if you're getting knocked out 50%, 60%, come talk to us. Let us know if we can help you. We may not be able to help you, but if we can, that's what we're here for.
But I was just going to say, there's absolutely no shame in this. And I feel sometimes, in general, when you are looking at social media, it can honestly make you feel like, I am the only one who's losing here. Everybody else is making money around me. This is not true whatsoever. It's actually, statistically, when you look at traders, guys, they honestly, I know when you look in those high leverage guys, that kind of blows my mind when I see fixed 50x or whatever. But at the same time, I just want to go back. Sorry, I don't want to mess up the point here. What I was just saying, guys, it's not a bad thing that you've lost your trade, but what is definitely going to become a trap for you if you are constantly falling for the same mistakes and you're not doing something to stop, review, and go back and decide, what am I doing wrong here? How can I change this? And without shame, you should really most definitely always go and review it. If not in yourself, if you're not comfortable with talking about it with someone else, first of all, do your own due diligence. But I encourage everybody to talk about it. There's not right and wrong. Nobody here is a genius. And if you're making money and if you're not helping another person to make money, well, then you really shouldn't be following that person. If they're guilting you or making you feel like you're just whatever, go away from it. It's not your thing. You're only end up if they're not encouraging, if you're not there to teach you and show you there is a way to fix it, move away from those accounts. That's destructive, and it's not going to help in any way. It's not going to improve your trading and let you come out of that loop of losses. And we want to be doing this to help and encourage you and show you that you can fix it. Sometimes taking a simple of a break is all you need.
I had a trade a couple of months ago with XRP I was doing, and I got stuck. I got stuck on it. I got stuck on the water on it. And I don't use leverage, guys, but you have to understand, I used $100,000 to $200,000 positions, but I'm not going for no 20, 30%. I'm going for 2-3%. And it got away from me. And you don't think I get nervous, guys? I know TA. It doesn't mean I don't get nervous. I had to reach out to Nebraska Gunner. It was late at night. It was 9 o'clock at night here in Arizona. So I think it was like maybe 10:30 at night. I don't know. He responded right away, which is great. He helped me see things that I had missed. That you get nervous, guys, when you have a trade and it gets away from you guys. And I was down $30,000. I'll tell you guys, it doesn't matter how many years you have, it fucks with your head. So I had to see it from a different perspective. I reached out to him. I say, listen, this is what happened. This is what I thought. This candle got away from me. I didn't think it would keep on going. It did keep on going. What's your thoughts? And he kind of broke it down. He sat there with me and he broke the trade down. He goes, look, what is the likelihood scenario? You're not in the leverage, so you're going to be good. Likelihood of this doubling is unlikely. We talked it out, made me feel better. I woke up the next morning, guys, and like 3 or 4 hours later, I was able to get out of the trade break even. But that goes to show that even someone who's been doing this for 6 years, I still run into issues where I get caught. I have no problem. As a matter of fact, I thanked him on social media, on Twitter, so that people can, first of all, I wanted to acknowledge and thank him, but I also wanted people to see that there's no shame in reaching out to someone and saying, hey, dude, man, this thing got away from me. I should have known better. What are your thoughts? What can I do? Because when you're mentally going through something like that, guys, and you have that kind of money on the line, trust me, the clear thinking that you may have before a trade, it's not the same. You're like, oh my God, what if I get it wrong again? What if it definitely will cause you for some sleepless nights. But the point is, guys, reach out. I'm not embarrassed. I'm not embarrassed telling you about it. I wasn't embarrassed giving him the credit on Twitter. And I did it more, again, for an example, so people can see. Reach out to us. That's what we're here for. We like to go back and forth, guys, some accounts. Like, for instance, me and Income Sharks, we go back and forth because he's very optimistic and, he thinks that the bottom is in, and I don't agree with him. It's okay. It doesn't matter. We respect each other. He makes good money. I make money. We have different points of views. We don't have to agree. There is no animosity. We don't hate each other. We just have simple discussions. And I think sometimes that intimidates people and they think, oh, no, I don't want to say anything. He's going to call me out. I would never call anyone out, guys. If you send me a DM and you need help on something, you need to get out from underwater in a trade, I would never call you. I would never make it public unless you said, you know what, you can go ahead and make it public. But there's no reason to make it public. There really isn't at all whatsoever. And you shouldn't feel ashamed.
Anybody shaming you, anybody making you feel worse than you've already been feeling before you went. cut them out.
Is that somebody you want to follow?
Absolutely not, lads. And I mean, seriously, I've been around social media for long enough. I've been seeing CT for a long time. I live on Twitter. I know what's going on, and I'm not just telling you this because I have an account myself. I'm trying, yeah, but I am one of the accounts that is very supportive, and that's what I want to do because I understand how mental health is important and how a healthy approach is the key to your successful trading, and there's no shame in it. And certainly if you're feeling like you are going to be dragged, made fun of or whatever, get away from those people, get away from those accounts. This is what we do here. Is trading is probabilities and possibilities. We take all the data we have, all the possible scenarios, and we try and come out with the most probable outcome. I don't have a crystal ball. BC doesn't have a crystal ball. Gunnar doesn't have a crystal ball. Nobody is able to predict what's going to happen next, but we have tools. We have our own approach that is, when it's healthy, when it's calculated, when we take all the confluences into the point to help us make that decision. So what you're doing is you're giving yourself the best chance. Whatever comes next, it's basically market's choice. And you cannot sit there and think, I'm always right, or I'm always going to be wrong. Thinking in those extremes is never going to be good for you. But knowing when to cut the loss, when you cut the trade, when to enter the trade, based on all the best scenarios and information you have, like I said, you're giving yourself the best chance, and the rest is up to the market.
Absolutely. Absolutely, guys. And now there's going to be people, I know there's going to be people that are also thinking, well, you're trading high up here. You're expecting it to go down to your 886, which is 11,277. Why don't you just wait? You have to understand, guys, this is what we do for a living. I could wait. And if you're not a trader, I don't expect you to trade none of this stuff here. I expect you to wait and invest when you buy on the way down, and buy in a level that towards the bottom, so that you could get a good daily cost average towards that bottom, and you can get loaded up if you have a view of 3 to 5 years. That's great, but it doesn't mean that there is an opportunity. And I say this because I had an account got really mad at me a few weeks ago, Marta. It was funny because you see, I've been very vocal about my view about going down to 886, and I posted a setup, for the short term, it going up. I got so pissed off at me. Oh, you've been calling the bottom, and now you're betting on the way up, and you don't know what you're. I'm like, dude, I'm a day trader. What's the big deal? He must have been having a bad day. He's a pretty respectable trader. I don't want to call anybody out, but I'm just like, damn, that guy got triggered because I posted something to the upside, and it doesn't mean that I abandoned my overall macro thesis. It just means that I see an opportunity for the short term.
On a monthly chart, this is going to look completely different when you start zooming in on the time frames. So this is where people forget. And I used to actually get this a lot as well when I would talk about altcoins back during the bull market, and people were always come back as well. Well, some people would have strong opinions and say, but this is what you were saying, and you're like, hold on a second. And even when I get requests, and I always say it to the guys as well in Discord, look at this coin for me. What do you want me to tell you? Are we looking at a 15-minute chart? Are we looking at a 1 hour chart? Are we looking at a 12-hour chart? Are we looking at a weekly, monthly? Because they're all going to tell me different thing depending on what you want to achieve. Are you a day trader? Are you a scalpel? Or are you an investor? So yeah, right now I can tell you it is going like that. Right now we're going back to 20k, but I think it's going to go back down to about 11, 12. Neither of those are wrong. They're both possibilities and probabilities, and we're going to take all the information the market gives us, to either enter that trade or not. Simple as. Guys, if you have questions on this topic, please fire away. I have the Ramon's question, but I'm going to leave it for a second and come back to it in a minute.
There is a question that Robert from last week's show had posted to us, is find out if something was priced in. He had a really good, basically his premise was asking, well, maybe all this fear and all this stuff going on is priced in and we're not going to drop that low. You have to understand, guys, and I touched on this before, and I'll be more than happy to touch on it again. And here's another question that people post a lot on Twitter. And this is one of my favorite ones. And I poke fun of it, but again, I don't mean any disrespect at all. They say, there's nobody left to sell.
Yeah.
You have to understand how markets work, guys. Markets, first of all, always think of a market as a casino. The casino always wins, and the casino always wants the best value. Dropping a market is not hard. Not at all, guys. You don't need to have a really big news event to drop the market. The market's going to drop. What the market makers do is that they just step away and they choose not to defend an area. When we were dropping with FTX, guys, you don't think that the market makers, these exchanges, have the money to absorb all of that selling? Okay, they have all that money. But why wouldn't they? Why would they not absorb that loss that was going on with FTX? Why would they is a better question. Why would you buy so high? When you've seen our show with me and Marta, we've shown you in history how we dropped 88% on previous markets, and we've only dropped 75. Yeah, that's a great deal, but that's not enough. That's not enough value. You have to understand, these guys are buying. Yeah, exactly. They're buying pennies on the dollar. So I don't worry about what's going to cause us to drop. What I'm worried about is, we're not really worried about. What I'm looking forward to is when the market makers say enough is enough, then they buy it. They could easily let Bitcoin go to $100. They can, but there's going to be a certain level that they say, this is value for me. This is where I want to buy. This is wholesale. I want to go ahead and grab it from here.
And it's back to psychology here as well, again, because if they drop it too low, they can honestly do too much damage to the overall economy and the sentiment that nobody will want to enter back in, and they will lose a lot of money. So that's their, it's all business. It's all strategy on their side. And we need to get behind their thinking. And that's a good point, because the market makers, look, guys, they have the liquidity to just drop it at a moment's notice. But like Marta said, that would take a lot of confidence out of the market. Not that the FTX didn't already do so, but that is a very it's just a straight blatant manipulation move on their part. So what do? They just stand back and let the markets do what the markets do. Companies go under all the time. They let all those events mask what they want. They want it to drop and they want to pick it up at 88%. So why push it if the market is doing a great job hanging themselves? Let them hang themselves. When it gets to an area of value, they have all the liquidity and they have the biggest single most important thing on their side to get the market to come back up. And it's not even money, guys. It's not even money. You know what it is? It's greed. That's it. Greed. Like, people's greed will guarantee that the 100%. Markets are going to continue to move up. It's like you're going to buy a new TV. You go into exclusive section of whatever new TV flat screens are out there. And you do your research on those TVs and you set your eyes on this amazing, 52-inch, a retina display, God knows what else it can do. But then you're hearing, we might be getting a sale. When the price drops, you will buy it. But ask yourself a question. If you go back to that store and obviously you were comparing those TVs, think about how retail thinks and how people compare things. Despite the fact that you had your mind set on that TV, the price dropped to whatever level you thought, if that's the cost of it, I'm willing to buy it. But then if it dropped too low and you see another DD you were comparing it to that was still good, but it's a little bit dearer, will you not start asking yourself a question? Why is it so reduced? Maybe there's something wrong with it. Maybe they reduced it because it's actually faulty, and this is how people think. A lot of the times they will actually buy something that's more expensive, obviously reduced but expensive, then dropped completely because they're going to start questioning it and thinking. And that's that confidence, taken out from the buyer, that do I even really want it from me? Because that doesn't really look, it's not impressing me here anymore. It's not enticing me to really buy it. There must be something not right. Same with the market. It's literally how market makers think. It's business for them. They know how people that don't have money and want to have money think, or how they're thinking of spending their money, and they use it against you. So if market drops to whatever level, we're assuming the 886 is the level, because it's very very good for those big, crazy big institutions to buy in. But if they were to drop it too low, the recovery would most certainly take much, much longer, and the confidence to get back to the market. That's what I'm thinking anyway. That's how I see it.
And I think the push to the downside, for me, the only thing logical, like, there's two things that I'm looking at that can happen, that can push us down there. A continuing fallout of FTX, which I think at this point becomes less and less probable as the weeks go by, because that type of contagion is going to affect companies in the immediate. And I think we've already seen the worst of it. There's only one thing that's lingering still, is that grayscale GBTC issue going on. That and the broader markets, guys. The broader markets numbers keep on. We had a report today. I forgot which report came out today, which tanked broader markets based on that report, because it's still positive. You have to understand, guys. Every positive news report that comes out that shows growth is bad for the economy. It's bad for the economy because it has a trickle effect. The whole purpose of raising rates is to slow down demand. And if them raising rates is still not making an impact on these numbers, these growth numbers continue to go above what they forecast and do better, that sends a message to the feds and says, you're not doing enough. You're raising rates every month, but it's not enough. You got to go higher. So that's why we drop, because the market, the traders, the people behind the markets, they understand. They're like, oh my God, this is just increasing our probability that on the 13th, we're going to get a higher interest rate than we anticipated. Powell came out last week and said, hey, we're going to slow down. We think it's working. And so the sentiment to me and a lot of other people told us that, even though he didn't give us specific numbers, that we may go down to 50 basis points instead of the 75 basis point. So he had a big turnaround from the last FOMC meeting, where he said he was going to over tighten. Now he wants to ease up. But then from that meeting to the 13th, if these numbers keep on coming out positive, it kind of puts him in a bad position. Even though he wants to ease up on how much he wants to increase it, he might not have a choice, because the market, the economy doesn't give him a choice. He may have to raise it even higher than what he anticipated. So those numbers, as they continue to go up and inflation and the interest rate continue to go up, I think we're going to have a breaking point. And if the broader markets break, guys, like a lot of economists say, I don't know the broader markets as well as a lot of these guys that I respect and I listen to, but I don't think there is a analyst out there that I respect that doesn't expect the Dow Jones to tank next year. We are pretty correlated with the broader markets. So the way I'm thinking is, if something like GBTC doesn't cause the market to drop, the relationship, the correlation that we have with broader markets is when we're going to get that drop down to the numbers that I'm hoping we get, which is 886 or below. So for me, it's going to be one of those two factors. Something is going to happen. And I always say, I don't know what it's going to cause, but there's always a reason to come down to that area. But you also have to think about this, guys. I think me and Marta talked about this. There's a lot of people. The majority of people are waiting for $14,000 to $12,000. When was the last time you saw the market giving you what you want? Think about that.
Again, greed, guys.
I think the most likely scenario, guys, is we're gonna hurt the market. When you get in front of your computers right now, guys, open another tab and go to Google and Google Max Pain investing. And you're gonna that's a real definition that is used for investing. Max pain is the level as where market makers want to inflict the most pain. Imagine this, guys. You're waiting for 14 to 12,000. You get filled. What do you think is going to be your reaction when you're not a trader, you don't understand markets, and the market's dropped to $8,000? What is your initial reaction, guys? You're gonna cut your losses, right? You're gonna be, oh no, forget it. This is gonna go lower, and you're gonna cut and you're gonna sell. Okay. That max pain is what the market makers want you to feel. They want you to have make those hasty decisions.
Then they have your money in reverse, and you're ghost.
Exactly. When enough people will sell their cheap Bitcoin, they'll then say, "Okay, we've got our bags filled. Let's go. Let's." So it's one of those things, guys, that if you understand that and you have that factored in as a possibility, it's not going to be a shock. Because if you get filled at $12,000, you're going to be happy. You're going to think you're a genius. And you wake up the next morning and it's at $8,000. You're going to be, oh my God, what did I do? What did I do? I just lost 40% of my bag. I can't tell my wife this. I'm out of here. I'm going to cut.
This is supposed to be the bottom.
If you talk it over, if you're in a community like the one we are in right now, we're talking about it, we're planning it, we're thinking as that being a possibility, you're less likely to make those type of decisions. You understand that, hey, I remember that crazy guy, BC, saying that, man, we may go to 8,000. And if that happens, that's maybe where the max pain is going to be. And we turn back around, we close the CME gaps at $8,300, at $7,600 possibly, close those gaps out. But they were already talking about it. They were expecting that. That may be enough to calm your fears and not make hasty decisions. I've been there, guys. I've been there many times in the beginning where I thought a level was the absolute bottom and it drops. And without thinking, the first thing I do is sell. I'm out of here. I'm out of here. Yeah. And it's almost like they read my mind because the moment I hit sell, the market stopped going down and it starts going back up. And you're like, what the hell happened here?
Story.
How did I sell? Yeah, I'm sure it's happened to all of us.
So many people have probably been caught in that, yeah.
Because you're not alone. You're thinking the same thing the guy next to you is thinking. He's thinking the same thing the guy, and that's what the market makers want. They want that herd. It's called herd mentality. That herd mentality, guys, you think you're a genius? You're not. You're thinking whatever. You guys are looking at the same charts. You're looking at the same support levels. You're looking at the same TA. The market makers know that. They're looking at the same TA you're looking at. They see where your stop losses are. They see how much money you have in your account. They see what type of trader you are. Are you a trader that panics at the bottom and sells? They know that. All that is fed into an algorithm to give you a score to see what type of trader you are. And believe it or not, guys, a lot of us fall into that same score. So it's not hard for them to devise algorithms to shake us out. And that's their job. That's what they do. You're not trading against a person, guys. You're not. You're trading against an AI. You're trading against an algorithm. So always keep that in mind.
So I think we're going to be finishing up here soon. We said we're going to be a short stream. And to be fair, I am absolutely jaded. I can't even think straight anymore. But I have a question. I personally don't know BC what this is about, but maybe you have heard it. Any information on protocol, PAWTOCOL? Is it real, fake? Sounds interesting, but skeptical about authenticity. I personally never heard of that protocol or protocol.
No.
No.
Have it. No. Do you want? Is something you want to pull up on? You want to stop share screen? You want to pull it up?
See. I don't, because it's not a coin. If I had a ticker, maybe I would have checked. I never heard of it. If I have more information, Ramon, do put it in.
And are they coming out with the token? Are they trying to raise some funds?
What is it really? What's the concern here? I have zero information about this. Obviously, I would have to go back and, look at least briefly what it is, why you think it looks good, and why, what's causing you any concern here. I've no information whatsoever, unless you want to DM me and I can just have a brief, quick look and check it out for you.
So that was a question somebody gave you?
Yes. But that's the only real question on...
If I can give my opinion on it without even knowing what the project is, here's my opinion on where a lot of people send me on Twitter, can you look at this? Can you look at this is coming out? There's a great opportunity. Here's my experience, guys, for the past 6 years of what I've seen come and go in this space. When a project comes out, guys, they all sound like they're the next best, greatest thing. They're going to replace everything. And you should focus just on them. That's their job. That's marketing. You have to make a decision where you're going to allocate your funds. Personally, guys, I don't like allocating my funds to anything that doesn't have a working product. I don't want a promise. If 1 out of 1,000 does make it, will I miss out? Yeah, I'll miss out from that seed investment. But are you a VC, or are you an investor, or are you a trader? So you have to ask yourself, do you have money to throw away like VCs do? They say, okay, I'll take a chance. Here's $100 million. I'll take it. No big deal. If it works out, great. If it doesn't, no big deal. Are you one of those people? If you are, great. Are you an investor? If you're an investor, you want to invest in something that is going to have good potential long term. And I personally wouldn't invest in something that's a promise. I want to see something actually working. Why? Because there's 20,000 projects in crypto. And guess what? A lot of those have working projects.
Guys, so apparently Casta is a working product as well.
Why would you want to take that chance? And there's nothing wrong with it if you want to allocate 1% of your portfolio for a Hail Mary. And maybe that project is the 1 in 1,000 that actually makes it, and you bought at the very beginning. If that's the case, guys, you don't need a lot of money. You can put $100, $500 on it, and those can easily turn to 100,000, 200,000. We've seen those stories time and time again in crypto, but those are rare. They're not the norm. So if you can properly allocate 0.5% or 1% of your portfolio to high risk and leave the other 95% or 99% of your portfolio for working products or less risk, I have no problem. Go knock yourself out. Throw 0.5% or 1% of your portfolio on it. If it works out, congratulations. If it doesn't, you're not going to lose any sleep over it whatsoever. That's always my recommendation, guys. And I've seen so many promises. Me and Marta have lived through the ICO days. The ICO days were crazy days where people threw millions and hundreds of millions of dollars on projects that had only a white paper. Remember that, Marta, in 2017? It was crazy. It was nuts. And 99% of those ICOs were garbage. Nothing came out of them. And I lost a lot of money in those because I would believe it. I believe it. Guys, you have to think what me and Marta have gone through. You think that we're here because we haven't lost? It's the opposite. Oh, yeah. The more you lose, the better we get. I tell my Discord group, I am a better trader than most of you guys here for one reason and one reason only. I've lost more money than you. So that gives me that gives me so much experience of what not to do. That it's very difficult to find new things to lose money on. And somehow I still find ways to lose money, but I minimize them. But you're always going to lose, but you're going to put yourself in a really bad situation if you go chasing after every little project that comes out that's going to promise the moon to you guys.
Yeah.
It doesn't work out.
I can only
99% of those don't.
Raman, what I can do for you is just have a quick look, and basically because it seems to be connected to pets, into Coinbase, something to do with their.
That's good. That's a big plus for me. When something's connected to Coinbase, guys, you always have to think Coinbase is US regulated. And Coinbase doesn't put crap in their exchange. They vet their exchange very, very well. So for me, I know a lot of people hate Coinbase because they hate the fees. I hate the fees as well, but you have to use the resources you have. Coinbase to me is a very good resource that I utilize to judge a project. If I don't know anything about it and it's on Coinbase,
it's a plus.
I feel comfortable. I feel comfortable. I feel good. I feel good about it because they've done the work for me. That's how I feel about it.
Lovely. Guys, thank you very much for tuning in. We're going to hopefully do a show maybe next week. Again, we're going to touch base with BC and update you again. Maybe you can send requests either to myself or Bleeding Crypto into our DMs and give us ideas what you want us to talk about. We'll be very, very happy to oblige. We really want to make this interesting for you and you to get as much as possible out of those shows. We come here for you guys. Obviously, it's great to chat to BC. He's an amazing sport as well. Love his knowledge, love his experience. But it's about you guys and what you want to hear us talk about. So come to us anytime. Give us feedback, give us ideas. Keep commenting on during the live shows as well. We'll be very happy to get back to you on everything you bring to us. Thanks very much, BC, for coming on. Get better, feel better soon. I'm definitely
Thank you.
I'll be in bed by 8 o'clock, guys. So, which is in 5 minutes.
All right, guys. Have a good one. Bye, Marta. Thank you so much.
Goodbye.